Mike Whiteley, Weasel News here with Commissioner David Edwards of the Lakeside Valley Police Department here. Today we're here to talk about various topics of events that have happened in Lakeside, and we will find out if the police department is corrupt. Alrighty. Well, thank you for being here, Mr. David.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show.
It's a pleasure to have you here, the man himself. First off, let's bring on this topic about the shooting. You know, what happened?
Alright, well, we get calls of a multiple men with armed at the Mirage Club, and they're on the stairs. Soon enough, looks like we have a couple hostages inside the Mirage Club. I was unknown about the demands. I arrived in the scene late. We tried to find a good spot so we could watch what was going on. We believe there were 2 armed men on what I saw. We had a couple guys up on the rooftops watching, and we had a sniper on the tower across the Mirage. At this point in time, we still believe that it might be a couple of suspects still out, but we've taken about 3 or 4 of them out. The sniper has been taken down. Another armed man that was driving a blue and black McLaren, who took down one of our officers earlier, was also shot down as he almost took my life. But yeah, and Wiltar, it also took a couple of guys out as well, and we all just did what we had to do.
Alrighty, sir. I'm sure you're aware that I had 2 hostages in there, 2 of my news reporters.
And 4.
You know, of Major Tom, he actually has everything on film. He was actually one of the survivors, but sadly we did lose T. Wetzel, or AKA Tim Wetzel, as we know him. You know, it's a sad day. You know, I gotta go tell his family that, you know, I got to go tell his kids and everything that their daddy's not coming home. You know, we, according to Tom here, he said, you know, they made an offer of $600,000 to get us out of there, or to get, now I'm going to say us, I mean, I consider them family, so, you know, consider us as a group.
User left your
but
channel.
They considered Tom and T. Wetzel hostages, you know. And to find out that over $600,000 that I know the state does have, you guys refused to get them out of there. You guys, you know, decided to shed blood instead of taking the peaceful way out. You know, can you give some input on that and how you feel about that?
Well, at the time, I was unaware of the negotiations clearly. I believe there was a complete lack of communication, as always, which is a problem in this department. I will be the first to admit. And we're doing everything in I'm doing everything in my power to train my officers that communication's #1. I was unknown about the demands as I arrived in the scene later, unknown that there were hostages until I was in position to deal with just a couple of men armed with guns. And so, you know, this is again a tragic loss because, again, you know, my officers failed to communicate, and those officers who did will be recertified. Hopefully, we can get this all solved.
I'm pretty sure, you know, with all the people watching right now, they're going to demand this from the Commissioner of Lakeside. You know, like I said, it's a sad day. I mean, I demand that something be done about it because I lost a good guy today. He was a volunteer firefighter. I mean, he did a lot of things for his community, and for him to be killed over $600,000 that the state wouldn't give up, it's heartbreaking.
I agree. We all lost a good man today, and we lost a lot of lives here, and there's no exception to anybody. And, you know, so I completely agree. No.
Could this have been avoided with more boots on the ground? You know, more deputies, more whatever out there protecting our streets?
I believe that I'm the man to say quality over quantity, and I say that, you know, if we have a couple of, you know, even if we have 2 to 3 officers on the ground that knew exactly what to do and were trained properly, then I think this situation could be avoided. We could have peacefully had the negotiations, have the hostages freed, and then I believe we could still taken down the suspects without a problem.
So I totally agree.
And so, you know, it's, again, we had a lot of changes in the department, a lot of new people come in, people who have been coming from other departments. Personally, the sheriff has hired a couple of people that are good and have, you know, they came from another department, But I do things differently, than they have done, and they're not used to that. And when you bring up maybe corruption, it's not really corruption. It's more a disconnect of and disagreements. I try to be as realistic as possible when it comes to how to train my men to deal with situations, to always value life. And today I believe that my officers, and a couple of, not all of them, but a couple of the people just don't value life, and that's just sad.
Totally agree. As you know, my great grandfather was commissioner once of Lakeside Valley Police Department. As you see, murders are rising. Guns are getting out there and everything. As you saw the approach my great grandfather took of banning weapons in Lakeside Valley, are you willing to do that to keep the safety of people, or what's going on?
No, this goes back to what Congress and the laws that have been placed by our founding fathers here. It's against our Second Amendment to completely ban people from having firearms. Unless we don't allow people just to brandish firearms down the road. They can have them on them, but if they're I can't take that right away from them. Maybe we just that would be against any morals of this great country we live in. But at the same time, we do make exceptions. Can't have firearms out. We will enforce anyone who has a firearm just brandishing out, walking around. Either have that thing in your backpack holster or face the consequences. So if you ask if I'm doing anything about it, then perhaps we aren't doing enough, and maybe we just need to possibly I might even create a task force to handle these certain situations, which is there's so many options that we can take to solve this problem, at least in the city limits.
Alrighty. As you were talking earlier, you have some new faces and everything. How do you feel about Lieutenant Tom of CID and how he's come in from SIU, and how do you feel he's going to make a difference in the CID?
Personally, I've known Tom for a while, and when he was back in SIU, he did his job correctly. He did it really well. Him being in CID, it's an honor to have him come to our department. I have no problems with him entering the department. I officially approved his rank as lieutenant. I think he can do very well. I think for making a change in this town, with his skill of leadership and his men, the new officers that are in CID, I think that they can help crack down the distribution of firearms illegally. Even prevent corruption in the PD, which is personally I don't see it personally, but then again I'm the last to know a lot of things, and that's a shame. Again, it goes back to communication. But I don't want to break off the topic here. I think that if Tom and I work together, and the communication is not broken apart, and I think we can get things done. I think he's a really good. I'm honored to say he's a great addition to this department.
Right, yeah, I definitely understand. Now earlier we do have on camera two police officers were shot just down the street from here near the prison. So fortunately, before Tim did die, he and Major Tom had recorded this, and we had seen no response time. There were no fellow officers there. The only people that came by were the medics, and that was to revive Abel. And this is one of the things we're saying is maybe the officers before, if they're outnumbered. For example, we talked to Deputy Fowler of Lakeside Sheriff's Department, and he telling us that, he's been banged up pretty bad down the street. He got robbed and everything. Police weapons getting into civilian hands and everything. Even though they were later caught, we still just want to know why he chose not to call for backup and wait until backup arrived. Because he was in a vulnerable situation while alone with two other individuals.
And this is the thing, I like to promote two-man units. And this is, whenever I get the chance to, I usually have a ride-along with me. I support the ride-along program. It gives people a chance to see what we do. But when it comes to PD, being to the PD, I promote two-man units because, I don't like officers being alone, especially in this dangerous county that we live in. And personally, I will start implementing more enforcement of two-man units. As far as being able to call backup,
User joined your channel.
Again, it goes all the way. A lot of this is communication. I personally promote every time I'm in patrol. I will be like, I will state my location, which is the most important thing first. What's going on? What am I doing? Even if it's a simple impounding, I call in my call sign. I say where I am. I give my best, description of my location. I tell them what I'm doing, because you never know if some rebel's going to come up, bang me on the head, and take what I have from me, or even take my own life. So
I totally understand.
And so whatever happened with Fowler is it's such a shame, and it's ridiculous.
Totally agree.
And and this is why I promote two-man units, and then you will hopefully see more two-man units. Sometimes it can be boring, but police work isn't all about fun and games. My two officers here, Jay and Cam, who are off duty, they couldn't agree that even Major Tom here could agree that two-man units are important. Mr. Tom has a ride-along that just came into CID, sorry, and he he says he is going to keep under his wing for a long time until he blossoms, and I'll give him a quote on that.
Totally agree. What you probably don't know is, luckily Major Tom and Lieutenant Tom are, brothers, and Major Tom was able to ride along with Lieutenant Tom and his ride-along. I think Lieutenant Tom is a good example of what Lakeside Valley Police Department and Sheriff Department needs to be. He knows how to get stuff done. He implies he always has a partner. He never is just alone. Even though I think he's capable of, he's a big boy, he can take care of himself, but he always has that instance where if he's outnumbered, he totally believes the way we both do, He thinks that we should always have a partner.
If I may add, if you're outnumbered, you shouldn't engage alone ever. Even if they're doing illegal activity, it's a value of life. I wouldn't go in a situation where there's 5 guys with armed assault rifles, doing something, even though they might be doing the most illegal thing. I still value my life. I am here to serve and protect. At the same time, I can only do so much as a one guy. I'm not Rambo. This is not, Call of Duty. We can't just go around killing people, and we don't respawn. When we die, we die.
Now earlier, while myself, Mike Whiteley, and Major Tom were on the scene of the shooting earlier with the hostages and stuff, we came in contact with Officer Hastings. We tried to warn him that there's about 3 or 4 guys over there with weapons, and he he just yelled at us. He's like, get out of my way. And sadly, I hate to say this, he did get killed. How is this a good example of? Do you think this is a good example of why you should always wait for backup?
Yeah, well, I think it's not more backup. It was for backup is kind of hard to explain. You kind of said the question a little weirdly. When it comes to, first of all, let me answer your first part about telling you to kind of yell at you, tell him get out of here. By all means, do not take that offensively. He's only trying to protect your life, and there was men with weapons, and you don't have a vest on. You're just pure fresh, meat ready to be picked off, and at that point you may have been, we don't know who you might be. We don't know if you're gonna pull a gun on and shoot us in the back. We don't know about that. At the same time, we try to treat everyone, respectfully. That's why I'm anti-harassment. But at the same time, when there's a scene that, we have a crime scene going on, civs roaming around is a problem.
Totally agree.
Personally, I know that you were probably curious. Curiosity does kill a cat, though, and the thing is
no right to search me, dude. Vic, can I have you inside, please?
Hey.
Totally agree.
No right to search me.
I think we should get going here. Do you have anything you want to say to the civilians or citizens of Lakeside and other communities all around to make sure that they are safe?
I do. The point is, to all you civilians out there, we as police officers do our best, and sometimes y'all don't understand why we do certain things, and because you don't live our lives, And I don't mean that like a mean way or anything like that. But the point is that, guys, if
Because I'm done talking this shit.
the point is that if you are in danger and you have a firearm, and we can prove that it was self-defense, by all means you can use your firearm to protect yourself. But always make sure you call police and tell us where you are, because cops aren't just there to just kill every criminal in the city. And we're here to help you out. If your car is broken down the street, there's no tow truck in line, my officers will gladly help you repair your car. If they don't, you call me, and I'll personally come down there. I will give you money, and I will repair your car myself. And any other assistance you need, I'm going to try to provide. My department's going to try to improve themselves to be the best they can be. And with that being said, stay safe out there, and let's remember the people who have lost their lives today, just so they'll never be forgotten.
Alrighty guys, this is Mike Whiteley with Weasel News, and we are headed to our weather, brought to you by Cam Stanley.